Good morning. Bit of a rushed one today. I probably won't be trading myself, but I'm just going to do some levels just to keep consistent with doing this every day. Literally just walk through the door. So let's just have a look. We have some news coming. I've just gathered. Was it anything of importance? Nothing of high importance, but enough to create a bit of market movement at 8:30. Let's put that back. So let's go back to MES. This is the hourly. So let's look at the 5-minute chart. So I've already marked the 8:30 candle with this fibs, and that will lead me to a couple of levels I'm watching for. Just open up my pen. So this here is a anchored VWAP, which I keep an eye on, and you can use it as an area of resistance as well, but I don't trade off the VWAP. I keep an eye on it because whenever I put it in, it kind of gives you the VWAP for the session, and then eventually it lines up with the current VWAP anyway. So, but I do keep an eye on it. What I'm watching for today, I'll go back to the hourly, is obviously I'm keeping an eye on the big data candle yesterday and the day before. You can see these grey and white lines. I'm just doing some back testing on them at the moment to try and work out whether these are something we can take into our trading, and this is a good example. So we had this big PPI candle yesterday, and the bottom was of significance, and the 50% was of relative significance as well, and it coincides with a level I had as well. So it's worth keeping an eye on because I think there's some significance in it. And so what I'm looking for today is to see whether there's any significance in that 5-minute data candle as well. So potentially we could be coming down to the top for a bounce, or coming down to the 50 for a bounce, and then I'll just log the results and then hopefully come up with some sort of plan so we can use that as part of our trading. Let's get going into the hourly. Let's have a look at some levels. I'm totally unprepared. I've had a few staff issues in one of my computer shops today, so I had to go and sort out customers who needed their computers back desperately, and I've literally just walked back in through the door. And that's why I'm focusing really hard on my trading side, my trading business, because so I'm not reliant on staff or customers, and hopefully then I can get a bit of a independence to let the shops run themselves, which is what they're doing. They're doing quite well, but I want the shops just to run themselves and then use this as a backup source of income. That's my idea. And obviously I'm developing some indicators as well for TradingView and Ninja, the Ninja Trader platform, which I want to resell as well because I'm a software developer by heart. Right, I've got some levels. I'm just looking at my other levels as well, the daily as well. So that's on my other screen. Let's start off with the daily, so we've got a bit of an overview. So we've got that level there, which is a breakdown of 45.17 on the daily, and what I quite like is the break and retest off of yesterday's high to a continuation of the trend, which is very strong at the moment, up to 4600 or the trend line. I also quite like the breakdown of that candle as well, which will come into our target area of 44.28. And so we're kind of looking in this area. It's a bit of a void. If you go into SPY, there's a big gap as well. We are in SPY, so yeah, so that's the SPY area, big gap as well. So on the daily SPY, this is a big gap up. So what I'm looking for is a bounce before the gap. Let's go back to MES because as I said, I'm a bit disorganised, and that's only because like I said, I've been at my other shop and I haven't had time to look at the market or get any levels in place, so I apologise for that. So I'm kind of like playing by ear right now. Normally I spend about an hour or so before looking at levels, and I've got a general idea. I write my plan down as well. So here we go. So this is a potential area on ES we can watch for, a rejection area 45.64. So let's go back into the hourly for that. 45.64, similar area we had yesterday, and I quite like the bounce around this area as well. So I've got a level drawn at 45.07, but we can probably go right down to 45.01, 4500 bounce basically. So this entire area for a bounce. And I quite like that. We're also trailing the 50 moving average on the hourly as well, and we haven't broken through that yet. If we close below the 50, maybe I consider a break and retest to fill this gap, which leads me to my next trade. It's going to be off of 44.28, 44.30 area, and we got this coming into that area as well, area of potential demand, and we've got the 200 moving average coming up into that area. So at the moment, until we see the breakdown of this pivot, then I'm going to be bullish. And if we see it break down and close below, probably want to see it close below on the hourly really. Then I'm going to be more bearish. So I want to fill the gap for this gap fill here. So go back into the daily again. RSI is getting quite near 70%. Last time it was up in that area. We went over, we pulled back a bit there, and then we was up in that area up here for this rejection of that trend line, and we came back down. So maybe potentially we're getting up into a similar area as well. So still there's no signs that it's going to reject yet. We had a bit of a top and tail candle yesterday, more. But we're inside that candle at the moment, so we can't really, there's no gap down. Volume has declined a bit over this push up has been on lower than average volume. And obviously we've watched last time we was down at the bottom, 30 on the RSI, 30 RSI was here as well. So if we can level, you can see how that lines up straight away. And so I do keep an eye on RSI as well, and there's no signs of it coming to an end of this run. There's no end in volume. That's what we're kind of waiting for. Kind of like a big candle with a top and tail. We're looking for a big volume spike as well, and that's why it's very hard to be bearish right now. But I'm fully aware that we are quite far away from the 20, quite far away from the 200, the 20, and even quite far away from the 8 moving average on the daily. So a pullback could be on the cards. It could be just a natural pullback. Come back to there for the push up. So it's long overdue a pullback. So maybe that's today. We could have said that was yesterday, but based on yesterday's candle, we could be looking at a pullback. So to confirm my levels, 45.64 reject off of that pivot, and if we push through 4600 down to 46.91, that $10 gap as a rejection area. If we come into this area, one thing to note, we look at that on the weekly, we're going to see some sort of reaction, I believe, and you know, it's all-time high pivot, and then we saw a big reaction last time we came down, and then we should see another reaction. You know, we don't have to be a big massive pullback like this, but we should see a reaction. So that's kind of what we've got eyes on, that area there, 45.90 to 45.600. Okay, so that's really my play for today. If I do trade, I'm not sure if I will. It's my son's birthday party today as well, so I'm only going to be around for an hour or two, and being distracted with my shops today as well meant I've not been able to be as organised, and you don't want to trade with distraction because that's not good for your mindfulness. So to recap, we've got a break and retest of the high, we've got possibly a higher risk break and retest of the pre-market high, and then we got the bounce, and these are all pretty bullish plays, and we've got a bounce there. So 45.07 bounce, 45.23 area, if that's where the pre-market high ends, high risk with bounce. And then we got yesterday's high as well, but we could reject off of yesterday. We could see a double top here as well, and if we see that, on the daily we may just be looking at 2 top and tails, which is more powerful than 1. So that's what we can keep an eye on as well. That area there for rejection, 45.33, through to 45.42, and then obviously we got this area 45.60 and 4600 areas for rejections, and that's it. And if we do see a big sell-off and we do close this gap, then I quite like this area for a bounce. 44.09, sorry, 44.29 I meant, sorry, as a bounce area. And that's basically, this area isn't daily level as well, this is a solid yellow line, and we've got tops of candles here, tops of candles there. So that's it, that's basically what I'm watching for. I've not prepared, I've not looked at any other charts, but I'll give you some levels which I can see. SPY, same as yesterday, a bounce off of 447.76 and a reject at 451.60 area. Again, you'll be rejecting against the trend. And look what we've been doing recently. We've just been stepping up. It's more obvious on the MES. Going up, going across, up, across, up, across, up, across, up, across. Stair step down, and now we're going up, and we look like we're going across again there, up and across. So very strong. Looking at Qs, I know XLK made all-time highs recently, yesterday maybe. We've broken that pivot from July this year, looking quite strong. We need to go into the daily now, see where we are with Qs. Is that right? Yeah, we're not far off all-time highs. Oh god, look at that. So all-time highs is 387.98. Is that right? That doesn't seem right. Hang on a minute. No, that looks better. Okay, I was saying I don't think it was at all-time highs. I thought I was looking at. So all-time highs is 408. That sounds about right. Okay, so we're way off all-time highs. I say we're getting closer. We're closer to all-time highs than we were at the beginning of the year, put it that way. Did we get through that area there? No, we're right at that pivot. So, and we've rejected that pivot as well. So that's the natural reaction you expect to see. Whether there's any follow through on the down to that, who knows? There's a gap to fill as well. Look at that for a gap to fill. So potentially we could be looking for a bounce around here. In fact, this entire area is a bounce area. We've got two pivots, which we just blasted through last time, but we haven't tested it there yet. So there are areas to watch for. So looking back at the hourly, what have we got? We've got a bounce area at 383.70, 69 area, that area there for a bounce, and that's, where's that come back to? That's the tops of those candles over here, so area confluence. And if we do sell off, then we've got the bounce at 380 area and 377.50 area. And that's all I'm watching for really. And similar to before, if we break the top, 389, 390, we could be looking for a break and retest long, or a reject. So quite a lot of scenarios we've got there, a double top. And like I said, we could be looking at another candle like that. Okay, so Qs, I went down Nasdaq, which is the same. We've got a bounce area. I'll be very quick because 10 minutes ago, or 20, or a bit longer than that, quarter of an hour just gone. So we can use this as a bounce area. What's that level at 70, 15, 778? Where's that come from? Okay, that pivot there, I don't really like it. I suppose there's some. Let's just readjust it. I do, you know, sometimes I do like to readjust some areas. If I just giving us an area 15,800 basically. That's the area to watch for a bounce. And then we've got the break and retest of obviously today's highs, pre-market highs I meant, and then we've got the rejection at 16,050. Or if we see strength, a break, a continuation. Oil was looking pretty weak yesterday, and it still is. Look at that! What a great play that was. I wish I annoyed that I missed it. I called it as well. The bear flag into an area of resistance, and shown decline in volume as well on the volume. That's a perfect trade, textbook trade. And we're now at the target area for taking off the first target. If you got into that trade, well done. Next target area, 73 area roughly, and you could be aiming for them for down here. Reason I said 73 is the area of confidence when looking for tops. So we've got bottoms over here, bottoms, tops, 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 bottoms, and it's a rough area. So this area is a potential bounce area or a next target. But good job on that trade. That's a great trade. Wish I caught it. So levels for today, pretty much like yesterday. I didn't have much of it. In fact, yesterday did I say I was going to get back into it if I could get? No, it did come back. I didn't have a loading, but I was keeping one eye on it for a pull back into that area for the rejection. We could be looking at a bounce right now, double bottom. So 74.93 bounce, and that's the only thing I would consider. That's a higher risk bounce because we're pretty much at that area. So 75.10 or $75 around that area. I'll have a big sell off in the hourly as well. Increased volume, so let's keep an eye on that. I quite like it when they push through, fake out and come back up again, and that's what I really like watching for. And we talked about this, we saw this head and shoulders pattern setting up a few days ago. All would work pretty well. I just wish I took it. Anyway, gold, glorious gold. Okay, so coming into this area of resistance, high concentrated volume based on the volume point of control. It's kind of breaking through that today. Got this level based on the bottoms of these candles, the tops of these candles, and this kind of head and shoulders pattern, so shoulders. We could see it reject, but we've rejected it once, twice, and this is the third time. So how many times do you want to be knocking at the door? So potentially we should be looking for it to break through today. But keep an eye on that, maybe a break and retest of that level long with a target up here. And I'm watching, so that level is 1978 or 2014 is a target or another break and retest long. So these are the areas to watch for. That's a daily swing trade that would be on the hourly scale. Hourly is pretty conclusive, we've got a rejection level. Potentially, what do we see? Left shoulder, head. You could argue that's the right shoulder, or this is still the right shoulder, neckline for a push back down. It's not a very defined head and shoulders pattern, and that would be the right shoulder. And I still quite like the break and retest, so maybe if we break out once the market opens, 1978 break and retest long, and we've got a few target areas on the hourly. There's area of confidence just here. Let's draw it in. Let's find a good area. Potentially there. Oh, look at that. Also the point of control area as well. High concentrated volume. Tops of candles, kind of in the middle. Everything bottoms of these candles here. In the middle. In the middle, I was trying to find the most touches, and that's the best place, and it's where all the volume is as well. So a rejection at that area, or if you're long from this break and retest long, a potential first target, and a second target could be up here. But bearing in mind, it doesn't move that far in a day, so that could be a day's worth of move. And that's it really. Go back to MES, see if anything's changed. It has had a bit of a sell-off in the last 5-10 minutes. So still watching this area, 45.07 for a potential bounce, and that'll be a bounce with the trend. Hard to ignore, there's a void below as well, big void, and you'd think if we break down below 4,500, then we're have to be pretty bearish, temperate on the micro time scale, because on the daily and the out, even probably on the hourly as well, but on the daily, this would just be a natural healthy pullback into this area for the push back up. And look at that, 200 moving average as well. So bounce of a 45.07, 44.05. If it's above 4,500, I quite like being bullish. If it's below 4,500, maybe look for a short. Rejection area, potential double top up here, 45.33, and a higher probability rejection on the daily, 45.60. And obviously we've got the trend line, which is 45.90 to 4,600. So they're the areas to watch for rejects. But wait for confirmation, and if we see big bars pushing into this area, then I'll probably be looking for a reject. But if we see lots of small bars coming up into it, then I'll be looking for a break and retest long. That's kind of how I'll be looking. I said I may not be trading today. I'll keep an eye on the market, which opens in 6 minutes, and I've got things on today, so I'm going to see what happens. Maybe look for a quick scalp and open and then call it a day. Okay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button as well to be notified, and the notification button so you get notified when I do my next live. I'm going to do another video shortly. Someone asked me if I can do one on supply and resistance. Supply, I did a support and demand one, but supply and resistance were how I find my supply areas. Sorry, my resistance and support areas, and I use like looking for most touches of candles, bottoms, tops, sometimes the average as well. So I can go through all that as well. And the levels generally work. You can see all these levels I've not touched today. Today it came into it, yesterday it came into it yesterday. We bounced off of that level yesterday as well, bounced off it in the post-market or the pre-market, bounced again today. And these are levels which have been in there for a while based on weeks worth of moves. And we've got this big area down here to watch for. So the levels really work and getting pretty consistent here. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will see some of you today in the trade room. Okay, have a good day. Trade safe.